So this is my motorcycle. It's a 1982 KZ1100 Spectre. Super big bike, heavy bike, really bitchin' machine. I'm thinking about first off getting it to run, restoring it a little bit, and then turning it into a bobber. What is a bobber and how do you build one? Well, that all depends on what you want to make. Bobbers, they say, they're one of like the very first customized motorcycles, because when a motorcycle gets old and junky enough, basically, it's you just sort of cut your losses and you just sort of bob off the tail and you do whatever you want up front, and bada boom, you have a bobber. I don't really listen too much to guys who say like, oh, a bobber, the definition of a bobber has to have X, Y, and Z. You know, you have to hardtail the frame. You have to do this. You have to have this. You know, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's one of those ratty, grungy forms of expression that if you want to call your bike a bobber and it's totally stock, then fuck it, go ahead and do it. You know. So I'm going to make this thing into a bobber as I see it. First off, there's a couple things that I really like about it, and that I know I'm going to keep. I know I'm going to keep the exhaust, although I might take off the mufflers if I see fit. I really like these shocks. I really like these shock boots. I think they're bitchin'. This thing it looks like it does have some room for me to lower it. So if I end up cutting the springs or whatever, I can definitely lower it a bit. And that'll be pretty bitchin'. I think I want somewhat of a smaller gas tank. This is the stock tank, I believe. Anyway, this tank is absolutely fucking filthy inside. That may be beyond repair. I don't know. I mean, I could try and clean it out, but it's just fucking gross inside. And I don't have a key for it. I don't have this key. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I could use the key from that tank. This tank here is from the 650. It's a little bit smaller. Still has nice emblems. Fairly clean inside. And yeah, I guess this cap would fit it. But I think that one, if I can try and retrofit this one onto this bike, I think I'm going to try and do it. So that'll be pretty bitchin'. As far as the seat, this has got to go. I think that a bobber should only have one seat. I want to make my bobber with only one seat. So I'm going to get some kind of a aftermarket seat for it. Maybe a little springy thing, or just a little seat pad or whatever. It depends on how it goes. Obviously all this shit in the back's going to go. And maybe I'll put like a brake light right down there. But as far as hardtailing it, man, I don't know, dude. I've ridden hardtail bikes and I just can't get behind it. You know? This thing has these beautiful air shocks on it. I think they're classy as hell, all gold, and you know, the boots match the front boots, and I just am gonna have to struggle with this one. As far as the carbs, for performance, see, nobody makes a bobber for it to be a performance machine. People make a bobber because they're ratty and dirty and cool. So performance, I'd probably leave the airbox in, but since it's a bobber, I might put pods or even velocity stacks on it. You know, don't quote me on that. Plans definitely do change, but yeah, I might kick the old airbox out. And then we have the option of basically cleaning up all the electronics and hiding them somewhere, or leaving it as is. Now the thing does have really nice side panels. Well, not really nice, I mean, but at least they match the bike. Side panels, boom. So I'll leave it in there until I see how it looks with the new seat. And if it looks like too much, you know, too much like a bulldog, then I'll go ahead and clean all that shit up. I saw a really good idea, which I thought was really funny, and it just looked cool as hell. This guy made a bobber, and he put all his electricals in like a little coffee can, or I forget what type of can it was, but it was just like a little can, right? And then the can bolted right here, and I thought it was cool. So I went on eBay, and I'm like looking at all these cool cans, And I'm like, oh man, this can looks amazing. You know, this is the perfect can that I want. And I ordered it, and it came to me. And that's it. And I think it's cool as hell. It says poison on it and everything, but it's way too small. So, yeah. Oh, and I just bought this in Chinatown yesterday, too. I wonder if I can incorporate it into the bike somehow. Anyway, oh, and I've got some drag bars, too. I got some straight handlebars. I'll probably ditch all of this stuff and maybe just put the speedometer in the middle, or maybe I'll get just an itty-bitty little aftermarket speedometer, something like that. Turn signals will go. I'll get rid of these mirrors and stuff and just maybe put one mirror on. And that's just all preliminary ideas right now. All this stuff might change. But it's a bitchin' bike. I've been tooling around with it this morning. I got it to fire up, which was cool. It didn't come with a key, and so I took the key from the 650 and plugged it in, and the only signs of life that I got was the tail light lit up. I think this is a pretty cool setup right there. That's pretty neat. But the tail light lit up, as you can see. So I jumped it, and it actually fired up on starting fluid, and so I knew we're on the right track. We've got decent compression on it. I did a compression test. It's got some spark. I'm not sure if it has spark in all 4 cylinders yet, but I got to go into the carbs, and I got to fix the electrical so it'll start with the button. You know, this is kind of a cool. That's the starter button right there. That's kill switch, and then to start it, you press that in. Oh, that was pretty neat. So yeah, enough rambling for one day. I think it's a bitchin' old bike, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting started on it.